For dividing fractions, we can multiply by a reciprocal. So essentially we're going to, instead of divide, we're going to multiply. So we're going to do an opposite here. And we need to compensate for that opposite by doing another opposite. In this case, we're going to use the reciprocal, or flip the times and divide by putting them in the opposite places. So we're going to do 7 over 10. We're going to do the opposite. So divide becomes times, and we're going to do the opposite here. So divide by 25 becomes 12 times by 25. The times on top here becomes divide on bottom here. So now we've done the opposite. That's okay. We know that we're going to get the right thing. So when we multiply this through, well, we can simplify factors. So I'm going to simplify factors first. So I have common factor of 7 and 5. Here's my 5 on the top, and there's a common 7 on the bottom. Okay, so I've written 25 as 5 times 5, 14 as 7 times 2. The 7 just stays 7, and the 10 becomes 5 times 2. So now I can see that I have some times and divides that'll cancel out. So I have a times 7 divide by 7 will cancel out. I have a times by 5 here, divide by 5 will cancel out, and then that allows me to get the answer here, top times top, so there's only a 5 left on top, bottom times bottom, there's only a 4 left on bottom, and that represents a simplified fraction because I've gotten rid of all the common factors already. So again, we're going to divide, so we're going to take that first fraction, just leave it as 4 and 9. We're going to do the opposite here, and then to compensate for that opposite, we're going to do another opposite. So we're going to flip the 1 over 3, which is the reciprocal 3 over 1. So I'm going to write the common factors. There's a factor of 3 that I can cancel out. Really, this is just one big fraction, and I can just cancel out the 3's like that. Times 3 divide 3. I should maybe put this in brackets just to make sure that we're talking about times still. Times 3 divide 3 cancel out, so we end up with 4 on top, 3 times 1 on bottom, and that represents a simplified fraction. So the reason why we can do this multiplying by reciprocal is we're doing an opposite, and that makes us that allows us to do what we were actually intending to do. And essentially, we're just gonna, when we do this, we're just putting the times and divide in the right places, because really this says divide by 14, so really that should end up in the denominator of a fraction. This is divide, which really means times by 25, so 25 should really go in the numerator of the fraction.